Hello and welcome back to Old Truthford, the home of honestly biased sports content. How are we doing, folks? Today we are going to be covering Newcastle's bid for Sesko, Hojlund refusing to leave Manchester United, and Mbeumo's debut. Suhan, I see you. How you doing, man? Vibing to the intro. Good to see. Good to see. Caleb, sup? How's it going? Okay, so first things first, let's start with the Sesko situation. So, earlier this morning, around like 10 a.m., Newcastle reportedly made a bid of 75 million euros plus 5 million in add-ons for Benjamin Sesko. So a total package of 80 million euros for Benjamin Sesko, which is a Newcastle club record offer, by the way. And as reported by Ben Jacobs, Newcastle's tactic has always been to get a quick agreement with Leipzig in the hope United can't or won't match it. So essentially, even though Newcastle haven't got a green light from Sesko himself, they're hoping that if they just throw money at the wall, then Leipzig will accept their offer and Sesko will just agree in the end. Bold move from Newcastle. Will they get Sesko is another question. So as reported by Ben Jacobs as well, let's see here. Benjamin Sesko is yet to make a firm decision on his preferred destination. That's also been supported by Fabrizio Romano as well as David Ornstein. So Sesko still is yet to make his choice on his new club, whether that be Newcastle or Manchester United, even though Newcastle are the first team to put in a bid. It would appear that Newcastle are doing something similar to what United did a couple seasons ago with Frankie de Jong, as commented by the Ferguson Way on Twitter. Great page, by the way. Check it out. Because, what they've done is they've gone to the club directly, and the club may agree, may not agree, but as soon as Sesko says, we're not, as soon as Sesko's camp says, we're not interested in Newcastle, we want to go to Manchester United, then that's going to be game over for them. So, let's wait to see what Sesko says in the coming days. There are a few more reports just on the Sesko situation. So Ben Jacobs, for clarity, posted this tweet. Newcastle pitched financials to Sesko before bidding, and these are acceptable. But they do not, and I'll repeat, they do not have a green light to join yet. Sesko, as of Saturday morning, has not decided on his next club. Decision could come quickly now. Big difference between terms not being an issue and getting a yes to actually join. It could come, but it hasn't yet. The bid was made without yet knowing which club Sesko wants to pick. So, Newcastle have made a bold move going in, throwing money at Leipzig, but as I said, we've got to wait to see what Sesko says about that, because if Sesko says that he wants Manchester United or he prefers Manchester United, then Leipzig could obviously go with that instead. As well as Leipzig, if we're being honest, are probably waiting for a bidding war right now, which is reportedly on the way. And one of the key pieces in all of this is Rasmus Hojlund. Because if we can offer Rasmus Hojlund as well as a large sum of cash, then odds are we will get Sesko. But if Hojlund continues to refuse to leave the club and join Leipzig, then it could put us in a bit of a weaker position, because we know Newcastle, obviously Isaac is continuously being targeted by Liverpool. So that means that, Newcastle will have pretty much unlimited funds to throw at Benjamin Sesko. But let's wait and see with that. Let me just see what you guys are saying in the chat. Good to see that everyone's well. feeling pretty antsy about the Sesko situation, to be honest. It is a flip of a coin. It is a flip of a coin, really. Sesko has been linked to Manchester United for years, so is it going to be a case of one of those players that just never came to Manchester United? Potentially, but I think Leipzig are very interested in Rasmus Hojlund, so if we can get that green light from Rasmus, then boom, there we go. We've got our striker, and we move. He sure does like to take his sweet time, doesn't he? It does feel as though Sesko is going to be taking a couple of days from the reports that I've seen. People have been saying that it could be sooner than later, him deciding whether he will stay at Leipzig, go to Newcastle, or go to Manchester United, but it does feel like it's going to be a while yet. To be honest, not feeling too confident on him doing good with us. Now, Caleb, I will be releasing a video comparing Hojlund and Sesko, hopefully tomorrow afternoon. So I'm going to guess after that video, you will feel a bit more confident on Benjamin Sesko. Suhan, yeah, me too. He is like a plan E, to be honest, so not great. I don't think Sesko's a plan E, and I'll get on to why he's not a plan E in a second, guys. But let me just catch up. Safer, we should have sold Bruno. Safer. Give your head a wobble, mate. Give your head a wobble. I think it could be a next year decision. Next year will not happen, Caleb, because he will be going to Newcastle if we don't get him. I mean, there's no way Leipzig turned down like 70 million quid for Sesko when he's still only 22. Suhan, yeah, I'm 50-50 about Bruno staying. Don't know how or where he's going to play in this team. Well, Bruno will most likely play in the midfield, and that's why we're in for a midfielder this summer, because the brief that basically all the journalists have been given by Manchester United is that we are looking for a highly intensive is that a word? Highly intense player who is just going to absolutely dominate in the midfield. So someone who's going to cover a lot of ground, give Bruno that space to get further forward, but a player who is going to be willing to stick a challenge in as well. I mean, Ugarte has looked better in pre-season, but I do think that we need a N'Golo Kante type of midfielder if we want Bruno to flourish in that midfield. Guys, if you haven't already, drop a like on the video. Got to keep the YouTube overlords happy and the lights on at Old Truthford Incorporated. Just to finish off on the Benjamin Sesko situation, Fabrizio Romano posted Benjamin Sesko not even in RB Leipzig squad today due to transfer set to take place this month. So realistically, he is going to be sold. Whether it's to Newcastle or United, he will be sold this summer. No decision made yet by Sesko's camp on new club. Newcastle ready since last week to pay what it takes, and Man United also in contact with RB Leipzig. Alex Crook has reported as well. Understand Leipzig are interested in Rasmus Hojlund as potential Sesko replacement, but the United striker has made it clear he does not want to go there. So Rasmus Hojlund is essentially refusing to go to RB Leipzig, even though I don't know what move he thinks that he's going to get, because if he just completely flops over the next year, it just reduces his transfer value even more. And what's going to happen to him? What is going to happen to Rasmus Hojlund? Who knows? But he's pretty much putting himself on the bomb squad territory here by not playing ball with Ruben Amorim and Manchester United. We all know that Ruben Amorim wants a new striker. That's why we've been linked to so many throughout the summer. And the fact that Amorim has actually said, yeah, we want Rasmus to do well, but I mean, the transfer window, you never know when it's going to end, how things are going to happen, or how things are going to develop. I mean, that's a pretty telltale sign that Amorim's up for selling Hojlund. Now let's see here. We are just going to move over. Oh yeah, some more Rasmus Hojlund news for joys. Rasmus Hojlund has reiterated privately to Manchester United comments made in public that he wants to stay at the club and fight for his place. Hojlund is not keen on a move to Leipzig, despite it being discussed as one option linked to United's Benjamin Sesko talks. And guys, I don't know how to feel about this. A lot of people, and when I say a lot of people, I mean a lot of people on the Old Truthford Instagram are literally very against Rasmus Hojlund leaving. I don't know if they've been brainwashed by whoever, but they're very much against it because now to get a United fan support, you just have to want to play for the club. Like, it doesn't matter about quality. It doesn't matter about the fact that you got benched for a 16-year-old to play instead of you. None of that matters anymore. It's just, it's crazy. It's crazy, to be honest with you. I think Hojlund needs to go, and I think he had his chance to show what he was about in a United shirt 2 whole years, and he's like scapegoating Anthony Martial being injured for the reason why he hasn't done well. Like, have we seen Rasmus Hojlund's game develop over the past 2 years? The answer is no. But let me just put a quick poll up. Have we seen Rasmus develop over the past 2 years? Yes or no? Now, guys, if you can answer the poll so we can all get everyone's honest opinions on has Rasmus developed over the past 2 years, I'm sorry, but the answer needs to be no. The answer needs to be no. If, obviously, answer what you feel, but I do not see how Rasmus Hojlund has developed in the slightest, if I'm being honest. Let's see here. Belieber. Belieber, I think, is going to cost too much Suhan for the midfield option. It's kind of we're kind of completely in the dark. I've seen reports today that we're maybe linked to like a Barcelona player who Barcelona may be looking to sell due to financial restraints, but I'm not falling into that trap again of believing when Barcelona players need to be sold because of financial constraints, because that didn't go so well with Frenkie de Jong, did it? Just joined. What's this about Hojlund refusing to leave? Well, Hojlund has essentially gone to the media, to the journalists, and told them all of these bunch of excuses, which then they can run with, and then they're going to obviously push because it's an interview. But the only person who wants Rasmus Hojlund to stay is roughly 25% of United fans and Rasmus Hojlund. Like, 75% of fans do not want him to stay, as per Old Truthford Instagram poll, with over 1,000 votes now. We've also got Amarim, who doesn't want him to stay, which is why we've been linked to multiple strikers throughout the summer. And we've got the executives, Ineos, of the club who don't want him to stay. And we've got a club who actually want him and actually value him in RB Leipzig. So it would be absolutely ridiculous for Rasmus Hojlund to stay and for us not to get a striker this summer. It would be mind-blowing if that happened. Let's see here. Fabrizio Romano has also updated us on the Rasmus Hojlund and Sesko situation, saying no decision yet from Sesko. Soon, but not yet. Newcastle always been ready to pay the 80 million euros needed already since last week. Man United also speaking to RB Leipzig and player. Let's see what he decides, says Fabrizio Romano. So, as soon as we get the green light from Sesko, pretty much, then Rasmus has 1 foot out the door and there's nothing that he can necessarily do about it. And yeah, that's all the updates for Benjamin Sesko and Rasmus Hojlund. Let me just catch up with what you guys are saying. I have a day off, Christian. I love this guy. He's locked in and ready to relegate United, and I'm here for it. His Instagram game has developed a lot. I have to give him that. Terrible, Christian. Terrible. Wayne Rooney was not very good as a manager for Man City, was he? I don't know what you're saying, Albert. I don't know what you're going on about. But I'm also going to just read out some quotes from Laurie Whitwell as per the Talk. Is it the Talk of the Devil podcast? Something like that. Let me just read out some key information because this is regarding the Sesko transfer as well as Rasmus Hojlund. Remember, guys, if you haven't already, drop a like on the video. Got to keep the YouTube overlords happy and the lights on at Old Truthford Incorporated. We are going to be going live every single day from 7 till 8 p.m, covering the latest Manchester United transfer news. So be sure to stay tuned. But yeah, let's go over the Talk of the Devils podcast and some of the key points that came out from that. So, key question, why Sesko? Why are Manchester United going in for Sesko? Is he just an exact replacement for Rasmus Hojlund? I mean, he's young, he's not Premier League proven. Why are Manchester United going in for Sesko? So, what we have here is Watkins was an option. They have pressed ahead with Sesko, ultimately decided to go with a striker who's younger. Sesko has been scouted for a long time, since he was 16 years old. Erik ten Hag's first summer, they actually looked to sign Sesko as well. And we ended up signing Zirkzee over Sesko. Christopher Vivek, obviously, as we all know, is key. He was at Salzburg when Sesko joined. He was at Leipzig when the deal was agreed. And he's pushing for it heavily behind the scenes. But yeah, a year ago, Sesko was United's number one target out of, I believe it was 15 strikers, which were mentioned, as per Andy Mitten and Laurie Whitwell. And United saw him as a high-quality, long-term option. However, in the end, we signed Zirkzee. Why did this happen? So, this is the 3rd/4th time we've tried to get Sesko. There's been issues with the agent. The agent wanted Sesko to develop to warrant a big fee, which meant higher agent fees that caused immense frustration at Manchester United. United were looking at 15 targets, and he was number one on that list. Sesko was number one out of 15 targets when we were looking at him a year ago. And now United are interested in signing him again, and it looks as though the agents have done the right thing because the figures are much higher than they would have been 5 years ago. So essentially, the agents weren't up for advising Sesko to go to United a few years ago, from the sounds of it, because they thought, oh, okay, if he develops further in LB Leipzig and Salzburg, I believe he played for, then that means a bigger agent fee for us. So it's very interesting to see how Sesko has been linked to United for a long, long time. He just hasn't got across the line. But yeah, the cost of a fee is why Arsenal stayed away from Sesko. Sesko has been a long-running story with Manchester United. And if you look at the strikers Man United were targeting last year, all the targets were in their early 20s. So I think it goes to show that realistically, Manchester United believe that because we've signed so many Premier League proven players in Mbeumo and Cunha, then it gives us a bit of wiggle room with the striker not being Premier League proven necessarily. But yeah, that is all we've got on the Sesko deal. Just started watching the Tom Brady show that's just dropped on Amazon Prime. They're doing a Wrexham-style doc on Man City. Is it on Man City or Birmingham City? I think it's Birmingham City, Albert. Because Wayne Rooney was manager of Birmingham City. But swiftly moving on, we are now going to be moving on to some quotes from our very own new recruit from Paraguay, Diego Leon. So he's had a few quotes to say. This is what he's had to say. I talk with almost all of the players, and they advise me both on the pitch and personally. And the coaches are also teaching me a lot of things to be able to be better and polish my game. It was a good match against Bournemouth, and I delivered my first assist. It was great. And which is hilarious, by the way, but he's claimed that as an assist, given the fact that Diego Leon literally like tripped over the ball for the ball to fall into Ethan Williams' path before Ethan Williams tucking it away. Now, Diego Leon on Ruben Amorim. He's teaching me a lot of things so I can improve my game. So full of praise for the coach, Ruben Amorim, which is good to see. And that's everything from Diego Leon. Let's move on now to Mbeumo. Mbeumo is set to make his debut against Everton tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, which we will be doing a live stream for. But yeah, we're going to see him kick a ball in a United shirt for the first time officially on the pre-season. So this is what Ruben Amorim had to say on Mbeumo. He's going to play versus Everton. I'm really excited to see him playing and what he can give to our team. And Amorim has also come out himself speaking on changes while he's been at Manchester United. So what have we got here? On cultural changes, Amorim shared, I think that is clear, but it's not something just for coaches, manager and players can change. Everyone, and I think everyone is changing in our club. You can feel the environment. Everyone has a clear job. It's hard to talk about because it seems like I'm saying bad things about the last years, but I think in every detail we are better in the organisation of the day by day. The nutrition is better, how we prepare training. I think we have people now that help us to be better. I'm not concerned with small things, and I was in the last year. That helps me, and it's a big help for the players. So yeah, it appears that when Amorim came in as manager towards mid-season last year, when Ten Hag was sacked, he had to enforce all of these things himself when it came to diet, when it came to meal plans, when it came to just, I don't know, turning up on time. And now that he's had time as a structural squad, he's got his captains, he's got his people to hold players accountable now. So that's what he means by saying, I'm not concerned with small things, and I was in the last year. He's taken less responsibility off his shoulders for that and letting the players deal with that themselves. Another quote from Ruben Amorim: the players are working really well and they understand that they need to give 100%. If they do not give that, it's going to be hard for them here. That is important. And I mean, is that a threat? Because if it is, I love it, because Ruben Amorim is pretty much saying, yeah, you stick by the rules, otherwise you've seen what happened to Rashford, you've seen what happened to Garnacho, you've seen what happened with Anthony, you will join the bomb squad. Like, if you do not stick to the rules, Manchester United is not a place for you. And I love that Amorim is so stubborn that he will not let up on any of these points. Ruben Amorim also added on the character of Mbeumo and Cunha and signing them, he added, it's a key point in our way to do things now. It's not just how they play. It's really important, of course, but the character is really important. We took a lot of time to know the players, to talk with everybody before we bring a player to our group. That is going to be massive in our decision to bring players. So, it looks as though Amorim is actually looking into the character of players before they sign as well, which is one of the things that is so underrated when it comes to talent ID within players. Because if you look at any of Sir Alex Ferguson's autobiographies, he would literally do a full-on background check to the extent of he essentially hired private investigators on players to see about all of their activities before they would join Manchester United. So for me personally, I'm very happy with the fact that Amorim is looking into this, and the fact that he is looking into the characters of players before they join. And he's also reiterated that if they do not want to join Manchester United is not the home for them. So we're looking for players who want to join Manchester United. And that is why the Sesko situation is probably worrying a lot of fans, because, I mean, Sesko hasn't necessarily said that he wants to join Manchester United just yet. And he's still weighing up his options between Newcastle and United. But that is why Amorim is saying that we need players who are 100% going to be bought in on the project. Like, we don't want we don't want players who, oh, okay, United was their second choice and they ended up here. We want players who are actually going to want to play for Manchester United and prove themselves in a United shirt. And that's what we need at this stage of where Manchester United are at, unfortunately. We will be releasing a video tomorrow on the main differences between Benjamin Sesko and Rasmus Hojlund. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button for all the latest Manchester United news. Let's see what else we've got. See if there's been any other updates today. It's been a fairly slow day today, but in terms of the information that we've got on the Sesko situation, Newcastle have put a bid in. It hasn't been accepted yet by Leipzig, and Sesko hasn't given the green light on joining Newcastle United. So it's still all up in the air. But yeah, Newcastle have put in a bid for Sesko, and we are now just waiting to see if Sesko fancies joining United or not. Let's see here if there's been any new updates. Okay, so Laurie Whitwell has come out saying Manchester United are continuing talks on Benjamin Sesko, who has yet to make a decision on his future. That call could come in the next few days. Discussions with Sesko's agent are taking place on wages and fees. So we are still waiting for any updates on the Benjamin Sesko situation, but be sure to subscribe, because any day now we will be having that breaking news telling us that Benjamin Sesko will officially, hopefully, be joining Manchester United, because it would really put Newcastle in a pickle. I'm not going to lie. All of that good work that they've done over the past few seasons would essentially be erased if they completely lost Isaac. They couldn't get Sesko and then ended up just signing Watkins. I mean, don't get me wrong, Watkins is good, but he's close to 30, and I think a summer for Newcastle of signing Ramsdale, Watkins, and Elanga, they're going to struggle in the Champions League for sure. I mean, they've got a lot of games to play. United only have league games, which would give a lot of time for the players to develop, which I'm hoping Sesko would actually consider that or factor it in. I mean, he may not play Champions League this season with Manchester United, but given the fact that we have no European games, it would give him a lot of time to develop his game with Ruben Amorim, who is, without a doubt, one of the elite coaches in Europe right now. So we'll have to wait and see what Sesko does there. But folks, if you haven't already, drop a like on the video. It really does help the channel grow. And be sure to subscribe for the latest United transfer news, because we've got a lot more to come in the next coming days. All the updates with Sesko, midfielder options, obviously, goalkeeping situation is still on the cards. I think Laurie Whitwell and Andy Mitten are of the mind that should we manage to get enough money from both Anthony and Garnacho's sales, then there's a small chance that we could get Sesko as well as keep Rasmus Hojlund. But yeah, for those Rasmus Hojlund fans out there, I'm sorry, your boy is 90% most likely going to be leaving the club this summer. So I'm sorry to disappoint, but that is a strong possibility at this point. Let's see if we've got any further news. As of all the other updates, Diego Leon has just come out praising Ruben Amorim, and Mbeumo is set to make his debut against Everton. But other than that, guys, I think we're all up to date. If anyone's got any United-related questions, get them in the chat, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. I have absorbed all of the news articles from today, so if anyone's got any questions on the Sesko situation, on Mbeumo or Cunha, feel free to drop them in the chat. But Ruben Amorim has been pretty scathing of the previous United regimes, with players being allowed to do what they want when they want, which is good to see. He is definitely an authoritarian. I do remember, I don't know which reporter came out with it, but he said that Ruben Amorim was essentially a smiling assassin. He comes in, acts all friendly with the players, but then behind closed doors, he is literally an authoritarian to the degree that he tells players where they can go, what they can eat, what they can do, and yeah, it's a breath of fresh air for Manchester United. And Ruben Amorim also gave us an insight into talent ID. So he gave us an insight into how he selects his players, and he does that not only through their skill level, but their character, which is very similar to how Sir Alex Ferguson recruited players. So again, very happy with that. Very happy with that. But yeah, as for tomorrow, we've still got our final game of the Premier League Summer Series, which is my favourite competition in the world at the moment, since we're top of the league, against Everton. Mbeumo will start. I wonder if we're going to see Mbeumo and Cunha actually in the same team together, because that is the thing that all United fans have been waiting for. And if they do play together, then it looks, I would imagine, the midfield two would be Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro, because we need some sort of defensive solidity. And I think when Ugarte and Fernandes play in the midfield, we're missing a bit of physicality in there, which Casemiro obviously provides. But we'll have to wait and see. My score prediction for the Man United v Everton game, I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. I think there's going to be a heavy emphasis on defensive solidity, which we've seen in the previous games. And yeah, I think we're going to do well. I think we're going to do well in the final game of the Premier League Summer Series. Just for those joining now, just to catch up, Sesko situation, Newcastle have put a bid in. Leipzig haven't agreed to that bid just yet, and Newcastle don't have terms with the players fully ironed out for there to be an agreement there. So Newcastle have essentially done a similar thing to what we did with Barcelona when we tried to sign Frankie de Jong a couple seasons ago, if anyone remembers. We agreed with the club, we had the price all settled, but because the player literally did not want to leave Barcelona and wanted to stay in captivity where he would receive no wages, basically that meant that Frankie de Jong did not join Manchester United. And from the looks of it, Newcastle have done something similar. So Newcastle have agreed a price with Leipzig, although they've not necessarily agreed to it just yet. So they put the bid in. Leipzig haven't agreed. Sesko hasn't agreed to it either. And now we're just waiting to see the developments on that. But pretty slow news day today. Any other updates that are vital? So we're waiting 2 days or a couple of days for Sesko's decision. Rasmus Hojlund is literally refusing to leave Manchester United Football Club. He's come out in interviews. Again, for those joining, let me just read this out because it's actually quite funny. So on the Talk of the Devils podcast, featuring Laurie Whitwell and Andy Mitten, this is what Laurie Whitwell had to say regarding Rasmus Hojlund. So he said, Hojlund obviously doesn't want to leave. He came into the mix zone, which is the media zone on tour, outwardly saying, does anyone want to talk to me? Meaning he provoked the conversation. So all of those quotes that you may have seen about Rasmus Hojlund talking about being injured, sorry, not being injured, but Anthony Martial being injured and him having to play loads of games in his first 2 seasons, that was entirely provoked and orchestrated by Rasmus Hojlund. He went out of his way to go into the media zone to say to journalists, does anyone want to talk to me? Because, I mean, like, as we know, usually it's journalists who chase players for interviews. They're saying, oh, let's have a word with you. Let's talk to you. Let's get your side. Let's have a scoop. But Rasmus went out of his way to go to the journalists and say, does anyone want to talk to me? Because he wants to pretty much get the fans on his side, which is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. Because do you know how many do you know how many young strikers would literally bite your hand off to play for Manchester United and lead the line for 2 seasons to show how good they are? And yet Rasmus Hojlund got given that opportunity. He got given that opportunity of 2 years leading the line, and now he's coming out in interviews saying, yeah, I could have done with some help. I'm sorry, bro. What is going on? But yeah, Laurie Whitwell also said he has Rasmus Hojlund behind the scenes has been subdued while the cameras haven't been on him, which is crazy to hear as well, because I think we all know, and I think Rasmus knows, his time is coming to an end at Manchester United. That's why he's subdued. That's why he knows that he's leaving, because he's just sad about it, which fair enough to him. I mean, I've never said that Rasmus Hojlund lacks passion. I've never said Rasmus Hojlund doesn't want to play for Manchester United. But at the end of the day, guys, it's sport. And if you're good enough, you're good enough. If you're not good enough, you're not good enough. And Rasmus Hojlund has consistently not been good enough for Manchester United. And that is why Rasmus Hojlund has been linked with RB Leipzig as a part of the swap deal for Benjamin Sesko. But yeah, those are all the updates that we have so far. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We are going to be going live every single night to cover the latest Manchester United news. And obviously giving you the play-by-play updates on the Benjamin Sesko transfer. We are also going to be going live tomorrow for the Manchester United v Everton game at 10 o'clock for those available for the watch-along. But yeah. Any other final updates? Mbeumo will be starting. Ideally, well, we know that he's going to play, but we don't necessarily know he's going to be starting. But Mbeumo hopefully will be starting against Everton tomorrow, and we will see Cunha and Mbeumo on the same pitch together. It's quite entertaining, actually. Interesting, because speaking of Mbeumo and Cunha, Amorim has given us a bit of insight into his decision making when it comes to transfers, and he said this on Mbeumo and Cunha. It is a key point in our way to do things now. It's not just how they play. It's really important, of course, but the character is really important. We took a lot of time to know the players, to talk with everybody before we bring a player to our group. This is going to be massive in our decision to bring players. So that means if any of these players have done so much as give a postman a dodgy look, Ruben Amorim will know about it. So yeah, which is very Sir Alex Ferguson-esque, getting a full profile of the players, not just physically in terms of their skill level, but in terms of their mentality as well. But if I'm being honest, guys, the thing that's really on my mind right now is how Rasmus Hojlund has the audacity to say that he's not interested in RB Leipzig when he's literally stunk out the place for the past 2 years. I mean, he's had good moments, don't get me wrong. Like, there's probably a talent in there somewhere. But I think at Manchester United, he's consistently shown mediocrity. And that's why he needs to go, in my opinion. He needs to absolutely go. And I am shocked that people are saying, to the question that I put in the poll, have we seen Rasmus develop over the past 2 years? It's 50-50 on yes and no. I am absolutely shocked by that. But so far with the Rasmus Hojlund situation in itself, Amorim hasn't said he wants to keep Hojlund. He's literally come out saying, don't know what's going to happen in the transfer window, which is translation for, yeah, I don't want to keep Rasmus Hojlund. We're publicly interested in another striker, that being Sesko. We know we're going to bid for this other striker. The team that this other striker comes from wants Rasmus Hojlund. Hojlund puts up funny captions. I get it. Personally, not my cup of tea. I find them a bit cringe, but if it floats your boat, then whatever. Hojlund has been doing everything he can publicly to say he does not want to leave Manchester United, including coming into the mix zone, the media zone, as reported by Laurie Whitwell, outwardly saying, does anyone want to talk to me? After he scored his goal, which Laurie Whitwell made a very good point as well, saying, had he not scored a goal against, against Bournemouth, had he not scored a goal, do you think that Rasmus Hojlund would have actually would have come into the media zone and said, does anyone want to talk to me? Probably not. He probably wouldn't have. But yeah, he actively went into the media zone in order to try and get the fans on his side by saying about the Anthony Martial quote, saying that, okay, he could have done with a bit of help given that he had to play so many games. Even though, I mean, come on now. Come on. I mean, you don't see bloody Lamine Yamal arguing about the amount of game time that he gets, do you? And yeah, do you know how many young players would bite your hand off to play in the number 9 position on the biggest stage for Manchester United, but Rasmus Hojlund sees it as a reason to play victim. Then Laurie Whitwell has also shared and went on to say Hojlund has been subdued while the cameras haven't been on him because he knows what's coming his way. And the reason he knows what's coming his way is because Amorim simply doesn't rate him. I mean, have we already forgotten the fact that Hojlund got benched over a 16-year-old last season? People seem to forget that. I mean, 1 goal in pre-season, and everyone is forgetting how mediocre Rasmus Hojlund was last year. He literally got benched by Cheeto. He got benched by a 16-year-old, guys. And that wasn't to rest him. He got benched. He literally got benched. Let's see here as well. Where are we? Realistically, there's no chance we get Sesko and keep Hojlund unless we get something in the region of 70 million for both Anthony and Garnacho. That's the only way we could possibly keep both of them, which I've seen a lot of people talk about. I mean, a lot of people in the Instagram comments and everything like that keep saying, oh, why don't we get Sesko and keep Hojlund. I mean, we need a backup. We need 2 strikers. And it seems like everyone's forgetting the fact that Xerxes is actually a striker. Like, he's not going to be played in the 10. He's going to be played in striker. So it's kind of mind-blowing how many United fans just defy logic in order to keep their favoured players in the club, like Rasmus Hojlund. If you haven't already, folks, drop a like on the video. It helps support the channel. And yeah, for those who are new, we are going to be doing live streams every single night from 7 till 8 p.m. covering the latest Manchester United news. So be sure to subscribe for that. And yeah, as well as that, we are going to be doing match watch-alongs and all of that good stuff. Let's see here. There's also importance on this situation either way. The thing that people don't talk about is that with this Sesko situation, this is going to be our last big transfer of this summer. I mean, we are set to bring in a midfielder, but will it be a big name? I doubt it. I don't think that that we're going to bring in a big name in midfield. I think that we're going to bring someone in, arguably for around the region of £40 million. And yeah, this striker situation will literally be the last big decision that we make in this transfer window. And this is going to be one of the decisions that we look back on with Ruben Amorim's time at Manchester United. And it was either the make or break of this team, because should we sell Rasmus Hojlund and he goes on to do really well, then, and maybe Sesko comes in and doesn't do so well, then a lot of people may hold some resentment towards Amorim because of that. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's the right choice to go with Benjamin Sesko, and I will be releasing a video tomorrow, a more in-depth video to go over these points, as well as throwing a few stats in there as to why it's kind of a no-brainer to go with Sesko over Hojlund, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't think people have really done a deep dive on the 2 players. It seems as though people just look at it for face value and say, oh, okay, well, this is a 22-year-old who's going to be joining us, and Rasmus is only 23 himself, so why are we not going for a Premier League proven player in Ollie Watkins? But Laurie Whitwell has reported that we've always been looking for 20-year-olds when it comes to our strikers list. And when it comes to Benjamin Sesko particularly, he is the player that we have been linked to since he was 16 years old. And he's 22 now, so we have been linked to him for 6 years, which is kind of crazy. And if you want to hear a funny story, guys, because I can see a few new faces have joined the stream. This is the story when it comes to Benjamin Sesko. So, let me get this right. Benjamin Sesko Manchester United were looking at Benjamin Sesko when he was 16 years old. Now, that's why he was at a club called Domzal. Now, United were interested in signing him, and they could have signed him for a much lower price, which doesn't really shock me, given the fact our negotiating team back in the day was atrocious. But when given the option to sign Sesko when he was 16 from Domzal for €2 million, United tried to negotiate by offering 1 million, then 1.1 million euros. But Domzal insisted on 2 million euros. Salzburg were willing to pay this, and that is why Salzburg ended up signing Sesko, and Manchester United didn't. We could have got him for literally 2 million euros, but we decided to try and negotiate over that instead. Which is absolute insanity, by the way. Sesko has been a long-running story with Manchester United. So that's why when people say, "Oh, okay, we're gambling on Sesko. He's not Premier League proven. Why are we not going for Watkins?" People aren't seeing the bigger picture here. We've been looking for a 20-year-old striker. Last season, when we were looking at Xerxes and all of these people, we had a list of 15 strikers that we could have gone in for. Sesko was number one on that list. Sesko was number one on that list of strikers. And yeah, he's been linked to Manchester United for a long amount of time. This isn't something that's just come out of the blue. We've been looking at Sesko for a long time. There's even been photos of him and his agent coming to Old Trafford a few years ago. So yeah, and obviously when it comes to value, the club look at a player like Ollie Watkins and they think, oh, okay, Ollie Watkins, he is going to be turning 30 soon. If we paid 50, 60 mil for him, it's not like we're ever going to get any of that money back. Whereas with Benjamin Sesko, if we develop him, we could still recoup some of that fee back in the future. And it also goes by Ineos's player structure. If anyone remembers, a report came out around a year ago on the players that Ineos are looking for and the hard no's and hard yeses that they look for. So one of them was that they don't want them to be, I think it's over the age of 26. They don't want any signings over the age of 26. And also, if you look at how much we're going to pay for Sesko in the end, it's right in that region of £60 million, which is in the same region as Cunha and Mbeumo, which goes to show we are not looking to be extorted and pay a ridiculous amount of money. Let's just touch on a few final things here, and then we'll end the stream there. So I am gonna, as I mentioned, I am gonna be doing a video on the difference between Sesko and Hojlund because just to give you a little sneak peek, guys, Sesko almost beats Hojlund in every single category, every single one. So it's not just a case of changing a 22-year-old for a 22-year-old. Sesko is a much better all-round player than Rasmus Hojlund. And yeah, I'm just shocked at the fact that there's a large portion of Manchester United fans who don't want to get rid of Hojlund purely because Hojlund actually wants to play for the club. I mean, it's as though as all it takes for United fans to get behind players these days is a player wanting to play for the club. But, I mean, where was this sentiment when Scott McTominay was around? Whether we like it or not, Rasmus Hojlund is currently not good enough. And in my opinion, he needs to leave. But that's just one Red Devils opinion. If you're new to the stream, don't be afraid to click that subscribe button. We are going to be giving you the latest Manchester United transfer updates every single night from 7 till 8 p.m. and much, much more. So yeah, feel free to smash that subscribe button. Let me just see if any new posts have come out in the meantime. I've just seen Fabrizio Romano post on Alejandro Garnacho saying reports on Garnacho and Besiktas are completely wide of the mark. No chance he wants to stay in Premier League. Wow. Okay, so yeah, that does seem like a really unrealistic transfer anyway. I can't believe anyone would actually believe that Garnacho would go to Besiktas. Given his pedigree. I think I've always seen him either going to Germany, Spain, or potentially Italy. Germany, Spain, Italy. I don't know. He could literally go to any league, any top 5 league, but Besiktas, why would he go there? I don't know who came up with that rumour, but bloody hell. But yeah, as of recent as well, guys, Manchester United have been having conversations with Benjamin Sesko's agent, as per Laurie Whitwell has reported. Let me just read the updates here. Okay. So yeah, United have reached out to Sesko's agent. It does seem like United are trying to do it the right way, as opposed to Newcastle, who have just thrown money at it, hoping that they can get Sesko on board. I don't know what it is though, but something about Sesko. It might be because Mitrovic played for Newcastle, but he just kind of seems like a Newcastle type of striker, doesn't he? I mean, I don't know what it is about him. I don't know if it's because he's like Eastern European and and like he's covered in tattoos, but I'm getting flashbacks to Mitrovic. But yeah, he does seem like a Newcastle type of striker. But I'm hoping and praying that that is not going to be true, and he ends up signing for Manchester United. But yeah, if anyone's got any questions, feel free to hit that subscribe button and get your messages in the chat. I will respond to every message. But yeah, interesting times. Interesting times for Manchester United, with a big decision looming over the Ruben Amorim era. Stick or twist? It looks like we're twisting, but a lot of fans want us to stick. Let me see. I put out a poll actually on the Old Truthford Instagram page. Go and follow that if you haven't already. And let's see here. So I put a poll out, say, for whether we should sell Rasmus Hojlund or not. It's archived now, but let me see the results of that poll. So yeah, 71% of fans want Rasmus Hojlund to go. Want Rasmus Hojlund to go and for us to get Sesko. 29% think that we should stick with Hojlund, which in my mind is absolute insanity. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what they've been watching. I don't know if they've been brainwashed by the cringy Instagram posts or what, but that's just how a cookie crumbles. I mean, some fans see things differently. I guess that's how it is. If you haven't already, guys, subscribe to the Old Truthford YouTube channel for the latest Manchester United updates. But as of now, we will be ending the stream. Hope you all have a delightful evening, and Godspeed.